when it comes to confirmation bias, I think anytime you're doing anything that can be polarizing, for
Hmm.
example, if you're talking about stocks and whether they're going to go up or go down, if you're
Yeah.
talking about politics, if you're talking about any news stories,
Hmm.
anything religion, anything that can be polarizing, people aren't interested in learning something new. They're interested in somebody telling them what they want to hear. And
Okay.
so, for example, when people just are looking for the stocks to buy and they're just looking for something to go up, and they don't want to hear that their stock that they bought, that they paid 500 times too much for, is
Mhm.
going to go down. They
Yeah.
want to hear it's going to go up.
Hmm.
So even though they're wrong, they don't want to hear that. They don't want the
Yeah.
truth. They just want confirmation bias.
Hi, Scott. So I've been wondering, like, right, looking at your experience, you've done YouTube, you've cracked YouTube very fast, but for me, it's been like bad news on bad news every day. And I've just not been able to crack it. What's your story of cracking YouTube so quickly, like getting money on your first full month, going full time on YouTube?
It was incredible. I made $5,000 in my first month. I made over $300,000 in my second year. Had a lot of success on YouTube very, very quickly. In fact, even replaced my six-figure job in 3 months. And
Right.
so had tremendous success right off the bat. And it was a lot. I don't think it was any one thing,
Okay.
but it was a lot of guerrilla marketing and it was a lot of really, really hard work, putting in extremely long days, extremely long hours, and doing
Mhm.
some very, very creative marketing that got me banned in a few places, but as you can see, was totally worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it. So the first step that I mean, you've put in long hours, and it definitely takes a lot of dedication, right? Something obviously I'm not doing because I'm doing this part time. But then again, having consistent content and stuff like that, putting in good background research, right? So what are the first steps if somebody has to go out and create a YouTube channel from scratch? What are the things that you looking at that you will probably have to do in the first 2 weeks or first month per se?
Yeah, the first thing is you've got to be dedicated. So you have to upload at least 3 videos per week.
Right.
And ideally, you upload those on the exact same days each week. The
Mm.
second thing is you've got to be ready to market. You've got to be ready to take the full YouTube. So a lot of people, they think they can just record a video, put it up there, and people are going to watch it. And they
Mhm.
very quickly realize that's not really the way YouTube
Yeah.
works. And it takes a lot more. One of the most important things is really good titles and really good thumbnails.
Yeah.
And to learn that, I watched a lot of interviews from MrBeast and ended up learning a lot from him about how to create titles, how to create thumbnails, did a
Yeah.
lot of research, a lot of Googling, watching other YouTubers. And there
Mhm.
are now YouTubers out there, and I'm even starting a channel on this to teach people how to grow on YouTube quickly. And
Mhm.
then the other thing is obviously you've got to have good editing. You can't be sitting in front of the camera being all mundane and boring because nobody wants to watch that.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
you definitely have to be exciting and just have a little bit of energy behind you. And then make your videos good, make people want to watch. But the
Mhm.
other thing I would say is don't get frustrated because YouTube needs about 10 videos before they're really going to start promoting your channel.
Mhm.
And just generally across the board, nobody's going to watch your first 10 videos.
Yeah.
And so you need those 10. That way YouTube knows, okay, this is the day this guy uploads. This is the content he's uploading on. This is the audience we need to market this to. And YouTube figures that out after you get your first 10 videos up. So
Mhm.
don't be worried or concerned about your first 10 videos. Nobody's going to watch them anyway. Just get
Mhm.
them out, get them done. And then from your 11th video onward, those are the ones you need to make really, really good. As the old
Mhm.
saying goes, don't despise small beginnings.
Okay. Now, there's this thing. I mean, obviously, SEO has been around for a long time, right? And it's just something that I've been dabbling with for the past 1 month and trying to improve what rubbish I used to, I mean, little descriptions I used to have. I've been trying to expand on that and stuff like that. Okay. Going head on into YouTube SEO, if you would like. Can you, is it possible to, Okay, I'm just going in circles right now. The question that I currently have is basically, is it possible to re-alive a dead video, right? A video that was 6 months ago, right? And then you want to make it go viral again. Is it possible to do that?
Yeah, it's not really possible to revive a dead video. There's been plenty of YouTubers who have tried it and they've all failed. Generally speaking, I don't really worry about what I've done in the past or how well a video is done. What I'm focused on is that next video. And something that MrBeast said that really changed my life is he said,
Mm-hmm.
make each video 1% better than the video before it.
Mm-hmm.
So each video, just make the title a little bit better, or the thumbnail a little bit better, or the
Mm-hmm.
recording a little bit better. Maybe adjust the lighting a little bit, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe try a different camera angle and just continuously make each video a little bit better. If you look at my videos today compared to my first video I put up, it's a night and day difference. But
Yeah.
as you go through the videos, you see very slow changes in each
Mm-hmm.
video, which eventually got me to where I am today. So I
Yeah.
don't worry about past videos. I just focus on the next one.
All right. So yeah, that's a lesson that I need to take because I've been working on trying to revive old videos, and I've been reading all about it, right? That you probably can change the description and probably YouTube will discover that video again. But yeah, definitely looking at that. Now, when you talk about descriptions, how important are they? Are they really? What kind of contribution does the description actually play when it comes? Because there is this thing that YouTube will go through the transcript and then probably realize that this is the topic that is being discussed about. But what is the exact role that the description is playing here?
All right, I'm going to answer the description question, but you brought up what I think is the number one mistake YouTubers make.
Mm-hmm.
And the number one mistake YouTubers make is they record the video and then they figure out what the title and thumbnail is going to be. And the people that are really successful on YouTube do the exact opposite. They come
Okay.
up with an incredible title, an
Mm-hmm.
incredible thumbnail, something that they know is going to get clicks, and
Mm-hmm.
then they record the video around that.
Right.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
that said, that's the number one mistake YouTubers make. That said, when you're first starting out and you're brand new, that description is key to getting you more views.
Okay.
And it goes back to what you were talking about with SEO.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody reads the descriptions. Nobody. So what I do is I use that description for SEO.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do is I go into Google Trends and YouTube Trends and I type in the topic of the video based upon my title and I look into what is trending. What are people searching on? So for example, I do a lot of videos on stocks, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will go into Google and look at the trends and I'll type in the stock. I'm going to say it's Nvidia and I'll look at everything people are searching on. And people might be searching on Nvidia stock analysis and Nvidia earnings and Nvidia price prediction. And
Mm-hmm.
then what I do is in the description, I will say something like, this video covers the Nvidia price analysis you've been looking for. In this Nvidia stock analysis, we talk about the Nvidia technical analysis and Nvidia price target and price prediction. And it's basically just a mumbo jumbo of keywords,
Yeah.
but in it, I try to make it sound kind of sort of like a sentence, but I don't really care. It's all about getting those search keywords in the
Yeah.
description. And
Mm-hmm.
then as people search, your video pops up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, this is now from your experience, from what you've done with multiple businesses and multiple channels, right? Is it how important it is that you realize your niche early on, right? You do your research and then try to understand, yeah, this is something I'm good at and this is something that I can do, right? But it does not align with what people are looking for, right? So how do you deal with that?
That actually happened to me very early on.
Yeah.
So back in 2020, when COVID hit and everything was shut down, prior to going on YouTube, I was actually a motivational speaker. And I tried to take my motivational speeches, put them onto YouTube during 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody watched them. Nobody was interested in it. So
Mm-hmm.
in 2021, I pivoted and started talking about stocks because that's what a lot of people were searching for. That's what a lot of people
Yeah.
were interested in at that time. And
Yeah.
so my pivot changed to investing in the stock market. And that's when my channel took off. So I think it is really important. Start out with what you're interested in, what you would watch videos on, or more
Mhm.
importantly, what you do watch videos on. And
Mhm.
then if you just can't get any traction, can't get any ground, pivot to something similar that is still within your area of expertise,
Mhm.
but that's also doing really well on YouTube. And that's the key.
Mhm.
It's really important that you pivot from time to time. And even
Okay.
Mr. Beast has done this. He started out doing, I did this crazy thing. And then he pivoted and he started doing a bunch of contests and competitions.
Mhm.
Now that's starting to slow down and he is working on pivoting once again. Especially
Mhm.
in January, he's going to be doing a lot of different types of videos trying to figure out what's working. And
Yeah.
so you have to be constantly pivoting based upon what people are most interested in watching in any given year.
Okay. Now, there's this new thing that's been coming up in my feed, right? I'm scrolling through Instagram, trying to learn about stuff. And then there's this thing called YouTube automation, right? That people are talking about, right? You put some money in, you call in a few people, you write a script using ChatGPT and give it to these 4 5 specialists who then create a video, or just you use some tool to make an AI generated video and then you upload it on YouTube, and then YouTube will start giving you money because you're now get generating views, right? Um, is this really possible? What's the flip side, and how crazy you have to be to actually be doing this effectively to generate revenue out of it?
So this was possible prior to July of 2025. In
Okay.
July of 2025, YouTube changed the rules
Okay.
and they started making channels that only produced AI content. They stopped promoting those.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, not only did they stop promoting those, they actually started removing a lot of those channels and
Mm-hmm.
banning people from the platform for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So if this was prior to July, I'd say go for it. But from July 2025 onward, it is probably the worst idea you can have. Too many people did it. YouTube felt like it was ruining the platform. YouTube
Yeah.
really focuses now on real people in front of the camera
Mm-hmm.
making videos. They don't want any AI on the platform at all if they can help it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of AI slop that's been coming in onto the different platforms, right? Be it Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, even, right? It's just that Reddit is still safe from all these. But then again, but there's still a lot of people who get to work around, right? They'll use AI in some form in the videos and then get away with it. The quality of content, have you seen this type of content, and how do you differentiate, if you can, as a regular audience member?
You know, it can be hard as a regular audience member, but there are signs. Anybody that inspects the video, they're going to notice it. And the problem is they're immediately going to start bashing the video, downvoting it. YouTube's going to say, oh, okay, well, people don't really like this AI content.
Mm-hmm.
And then they stop promoting it. And like I said, you might even get your channel banned.
Mm-hmm.
So the best bet now is to just completely ignore it and don't do it at all. Like I
Right.
said, a lot has changed in the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not something you really want to play around with on YouTube right now because they are removing a lot of channels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it, community guidelines is something, right? Just like YouTube banning AI channels, is also sticking to community guidelines is something that probably just happens, and probably not everybody pays attention because they feel like, yeah, what I'm doing is safe. There's nobody, I'm not defaming anybody or just causing hurt to anybody, but it's not something that you do by intention, right? Is there anything that you've done specifically to ensure that you've not followed the wrong path of going against YouTube community guidelines, probably?
Yeah, I almost feel like there in this day and age, there's so many guidelines, and YouTube actually uses AI to figure out which
Hmm.
videos are violating their content, and their AI is overly heavily handed. And so they end up falsely identifying a lot of content and a lot of videos and a lot of channels
Hmm.
as breaking community guidelines when in fact they did not. And
Right.
this has been a major, major problem. And as a result, I have actually myself had two different videos get content strikes.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've had to do is I've learned to upload the video,
Mm-hmm.
go through the full upload process and leave it as unlisted and
Mm-hmm.
then wait for all the checks to complete.
Yeah.
Once all the checks complete, then I make it public. And
Mm-hmm.
that has prevented that from me.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a regular feature for me. Every time I upload a video, I make sure I'm scheduling it and it doesn't go public instantly, right? Because then you don't know if YouTube will decide to strike it down. And then if there's one strike down means now you're on a radar where YouTube will be going through your videos more strictly to just to see if there's another probability of another strike down. Now, talking about niches once again, let's get back to the content piece itself, right? We talked about how we should be targeting what people are looking for, right? Because we want people to watch it. And as a person, right, you can't be a specialist of some random topic. As you mentioned, right, you were a motivational speaker and then you pivoted, you upskilled yourself and did something like that. For a random person thinking about opening a YouTube channel, right, that's probably not exactly possible. Is there a middle path, right? If we want to put it like that, like you mentioned, there is something, a video that you want to watch, and then you probably go into creating content around that.
This is a problem that a lot of people in business have in any
Mhm.
sort of entertainment industry, whether it's a
Yeah.
professional speaker or somebody on YouTube or even in the movie industry, is that a lot of times the videos we want to make, they don't do well with
Yeah.
the general overall public.
Hmm.
And so what I have found is when I have something that I'm really passionate about that I want to do that isn't necessarily going to do well, I go create another channel for it. And that's why I have
Okay.
so many channels. This faithroar.com is a
Yeah.
great example of that. It's a new YouTube channel I created because I was really passionate about helping people and getting them motivated and
Hmm.
getting them into business and getting them on YouTube and getting them financially free. It's
Hmm.
something I've experienced in, something I teach people about, but it's not something that really does well on YouTube. So I didn't really kill my channel that is working. So I went out and created another channel, which I'm passionate about, put all
Hmm.
my passion project videos over there. And then I continue to create the stuff people watch on my main channel.
Hmm. So the separation is, well, I mean, yeah, you create a sub brand or another business, right? When we talk about pivoting or doing experiments, because you don't want to hurt the core business in itself. So that's right. Uh, Talking about audiences, I still don't know how many subscribers you have. If you'd like to share before I can
Yeah,
ask
we're
you the question.
approaching about 80,000 subscribers on YouTube. I've got, I
Mhm.
think, 11,000 on Rumble, about 9,000 on X,
Mhm.
and other platforms as well. So that's the main channel. And then I've got thousands of subscribers on the sub channels as well.
Okay, so the question I wanted to why I asked you this is right when you have an audience of thousands of people, there will be thousands of commenters, right? Because a lot of people will be interacting with your content, and they will all of them will have conflicting views, and everybody will be putting something down in the comment section. Do you deal with it, or you just let the audience deal with it themselves?
So one thing that I've had to do is I hold all comments, and that's
Mm.
not to filter out bad comments. If people want to be angry or yell at me or whatever, that's fine. I let those through. But I am actually filtering out the spam because there's a lot of scams that go on, especially in the finance world, where people
Mhm.
try to scam people out of money. So what I do is I will go through and manually approve every comment. Now, every comment from a real person, whether it's positive, negative, in between, I don't care, that's approved. But the scammers I keep off my channel.
Mhm.
And the only way I really can do it is by using that hold all comments feature. Because
Mhm.
unfortunately, there's just too many scammers on YouTube, and YouTube hasn't
Yeah.
really done anything about it. So that's why. Now, as far as people getting angry or happy or whatever, I don't care. Like, let them go because everybody has an opinion and that helps the
Yeah.
conversation and it helps the
Mhm.
algorithm. And I also open up my videos so that anybody can use them, reuse them, modify them,
Mhm.
and post, talk about them. And I open it up like that because what I want is I want people talking about me. I
Yeah.
want other channels going through saying, oh, this guy's an idiot. I want other channels going through and saying, hey, you got to go watch this guy. He's amazing. And that dialogue, that confrontation that opens up gets people talking about you. And as
Mhm.
the old saying goes, any publicity is good publicity. So I
Yeah.
want more people talking, more people commenting, more people posting, more
Uh-huh.
people complaining, more people yelling, because that gets more views.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? The more engagement you have, the more your content is probably going to be fed to other people, if you want to use that word. But then it's just how the algorithm is built. Talking about, since engagement is on the table, let's talk about it. How important has it been? Have you had videos that have gone to several thousand views without any engagement, or have you had views which have had no views but still a lot of engagement? Is that even possible? I don't know.
Now it's pretty typical that your engagement numbers are going to equal your views. That said, I don't really care about engagement. I don't care
Mhm.
about commenters because at the end of the day, YouTube doesn't care about it. So
Okay.
I'm focused on what YouTube cares about.
Mhm.
Now, if I really want to interact with people, I'm usually doing it on Facebook or
Mhm.
X or
Mhm.
Instagram. I'm not really doing it on YouTube. So, YouTube, I'm just focused on making those videos as good as possible
Mhm.
and getting more views and more subscribers. I'm not interested in trying to go through and discuss things with people in comments because more often than not, YouTube is more of a platformation of confirmation bias, and people aren't really interested in having a discussion. They're
Mhm.
interested in sharing their opinion. And
Okay.
so they don't really want feedback. They just want to talk. And so that's what I see the comment section on YouTube for.
Okay. You mentioned something about confirmation bias, if you can just elaborate, and the other thing that what YouTube actually wants, right? So if you can just talk a little more about these two things.
Yeah. So when it comes to confirmation bias, I think anytime you're doing anything that can be polarizing, for
Hmm.
example, if you're talking about stocks and whether they're going to go up or go down, if you're
Yeah.
talking about politics, if you're talking about any news stories,
Hmm.
anything religion, anything that can be polarizing, people aren't interested in learning something new. They're interested in somebody telling them what they want to hear. And
Okay.
so, for example, when people just are looking for the stocks to buy and they're just looking for something to go up and they don't want to hear that their stock that they bought that they paid 500 times too much for is going to go down. They
Yeah.
want to hear it's going to go up.
Hmm.
So even though they're wrong, they don't want to hear that. They don't want
Yeah.
the truth. They just want confirmation bias. So the
Yeah.
videos that I make that perform the best are videos talking about stocks going up and how they're going to keep going up when the market's going up. Now,
Hmm.
when the market starts to fall and people start to get panicked and they're worried and they're scared and they want to know what to do, then I start making videos talking about stocks going down and
Hmm.
talking about how it could be this huge crash and, a little
Hmm.
clickbaity, but you get the idea. So I'm really focused each day in each video on what is the confirmation bias, what do people want to hear,
Hmm.
and then go make a video on that.
Right. Okay. And what exactly does YouTube want from a content creator?
So they want one thing. They
Hmm.
want to keep people on the platform.
That's right. Yeah.
That's what they want.
Hmm.
So ideally, as a content creator, what that means for you is YouTube wants people watching your videos all the way to the end.
Okay.
So the more you can do to keep people watching your video to the end, the happier YouTube is and the more they'll promote your video.
Okay, now that is an insight that definitely people should wait for till the end of the video. Thank you for joining me in on this episode of Your Lab Central. Before I close, where can people know more about you and get to know more about the work that you're doing?
Yeah, I recommend people go to faithroar.com at faithroy.com. You'll get access to my YouTube channels. You'll find information about me personally. And very soon, you're going to find help on there on how to actually start and grow a YouTube channel and make a ton of money on YouTube.
Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you for joining in on this episode and sharing so much information that probably I'll be implementing from today itself on my YouTube channel. And yeah, looking forward to learning a lot from your Faith Road channel as well. Thanks for joining in to the audience who's been listening and watching intently. The comment section is open for questions, queries, and suggestions and perspectives. If you've watched this far, you probably need to leave a like and also have subscribed to the channel because you've been watching this far and you're probably interested a lot in what we've been talking about. So thank you so much for joining in. And once again, thank you, Scott.
Thank you.